In last class we discussed about constant function and identity function. Before that we learnt about that one function, onto function and bijection. And now in this class we are going to learn and discuss about inverse of a function and inverse function. Just you observe the names, okay? Inverse of a function is different from inverse function, okay? Inverse of a function and inverse function, okay? Two different words, right? Inverse of a function in the sense, if we have a function, then it is possible to form its inverse. I have a function and I will get its inverse. We call it as inverse of the given function. And what if that inverse is a function, then we call it as inverse function. Once again, just look here. For suppose f from a to b is a function. So I have a function, right? Since it is a function, we know that function is basically a special type of relation, okay? So since f is a function, that f is subset of a cross b is a relation. It is very clear from the definition of the function itself, okay? So f is a function, that in the sense f is subset of a cross b, okay, is a relation. Since f, which is subset of a cross b, is a relation, in relations we already learnt about inverse relation, that in the sense every relation has an inverse. So we are able to form its inverse as f inverse, which is subset of b cross a. This is also a relation. Just look there. This is inverse relation. So f is a relation. F is a function. You need to understand it like a relation. So it has an inverse. So f inverse is a relation. See, if this f inverse is a function, we don't know whether it is a function or not. We need to check. Okay. See, if that f inverse is a function, then we call it as inverse function. Once again, I am repeating. If I have a function, then by treating it as a relation, I am able to write its inverse. That is f inverse. This f inverse is clearly a relation. Okay, no doubt f inverse is a relation. But I have a doubt whether it is a function or not. That's why we need to check. If it becomes a function, we call it as inverse function. Okay, I think you all aware about that. Every relation need not be a function, right? F inverse is a relation. Up to that it is very clear. But we are not clear whether it is a function or not. We need to check. Okay, this f inverse is a relation and we call that f inverse as inverse of the relation f or inverse of the function f. You may say in both the ways. If that f inverse is again a function, then we call that as inverse function. Okay, I think very clear. Now look at this b point. F from a to b such that f of x is equals to y is a function. Basically, if you have a function from a to b such that, see, we will connect the elements of a to the elements of b. We will relate the elements of a to elements of b. So that relation, the basic definition is that y is equals to f of x is a function. Then, for suppose if you have another function g such that if it is from b to a, f is from a to b and this g is from b to a, such that here f is connecting x to y, and if you connect y to x in this g, then we call that g as the inverse of the function. Okay, the same thing. Here f is just connecting x to y, whereas here g is connecting just y to x. Then this g is mentioned as inverse of the function. Okay, and that inverse is generally denoted by f inverse, and that's why g is equals to f inverse, which is from b to a, such that f inverse of y is equals to x. Okay, this f inverse is again what? Just look there. This g or f inverse is inverse of the function. I don't know whether that f inverse is a function or not. That's the other part we need to check. Okay, so with that I will give you the next sub point c. You just look there. Usually I will write in such a way. Okay, c. F is a function from a to b. For suppose if you have an element x in this a, this x just connects to y is an element of b. Okay, and as per the definition of the function, a rule of the function, this y is equals to f of x. Is f is a function. If you have a function like this, then that implies f inverse is from b to a, and this f inverse from b to a, in b we have element y and this y we need to connect for the x of a such that this x is equals to f inverse of y. Just look there, f inverse is the name of the function. This f inverse connects y to x. Since f inverse connects y to x, we will write that f inverse of y is equals to x. Okay, see, this is f of x is equals to y and this is f inverse of y is equals to x. If this is the definition, this is the definition of f inverse. F inverse is from b to a such that f inverse of y is equals to x is a relation. Okay, whether it is a function or not, we don't know. We need to check as per the problem. Okay, right. In another way, how to understand this f inverse, I will give you here. Okay, I am erasing this. Yeah, D. If x comma y is an ordered pair of the function f. If x comma y is an ordered pair of the function f, what it means? F is just connecting x of the first set to y of the second set. That means f of x is equals to y. And since f of x is equals to y, it is very clear that x is equals to f inverse of y. F of x is equals to y, and that implies x is equals to f inverse of y. Since f of x is equals to f inverse of y, that in the sense f inverse of y is equals to x. That in the sense f inverse just connects y to x. That in turn represents that y comma x is an ordered pair of f inverse. Just have a look. I start with x comma y in f, then I automatically will get that the ordered pair y comma x in f inverse. Okay. For suppose if I have a function f, okay, such that, see, if it connects the elements of, see what I will to say, f is a function from the set containing 1 to 3 to the set containing 1 to 3. Okay, such that f inverse is equals to the ordered pairs 1, 2 and what I need to say, 2, 3 and then 3, 2. If I have this function, see, this is f. Okay, f is a function such that f is equals to like this. Then what you say about f inverse? Then easily we will say that f inverse contains the ordered pairs 2, 1, 3, 2 and then 2, 3. Okay, just look there. We need to interchange the positions of x and y. Okay, that's about f inverse. And now in the next points I am going to check whenever that f inverse becomes a function or not. That's what we need to discuss. Okay, just have a look. So just I have a function f which is from integers to integers such that f of x is equals to x square. So we have integers in the first set, we have integers in the second set. So as per the rule of the function, we need to connect x to x square. We need to connect minus 3 to its square, 9. 3 to its square, 9. Just I indicated just minus 3 and 3, just I highlighted those. But we have many elements in this. We will connect 1 to 1 square, 2 to 2 square, 0 to 0 square, minus 1 to 1 square. Everything will happen here, okay? But just I highlighted that minus 3 and 3 are also connected to 9. Just to explain something, I highlighted that, okay? Then from there, as a notation, we write that f of minus 3 is equals to 9 and f of 3 is equals to 9. We will write it like this, okay? See, f of minus 3 is equals to 9 and f of 3 is equals to 9. So whenever you have f of minus 3 as 9, then as per the rule of the inverse, f inverse of 9 is equals to minus 3. Okay, we are able to write that f inverse of 9 is equals to minus 3. In the same way, if we have that f of 3 is equals to 9, then we will rewrite it as f inverse of 9 is equals to 3. But okay, when you combine these two, if anybody asks you to write f inverse of 9 directly, then your answer is the set containing minus 3 to 3. Just have a look. If you have only f of minus 3 is equals to 9, then it's rewriting. Okay, in another way we will rewrite it as f inverse of 9 is equals to minus 3, and f of 3 is equal to 9 can be rewritten as f inverse of 9 is equals to 3. Okay, so f inverse of 9 is equals to 3 is a correct statement. F inverse of 9 is equal to minus 3 is also a correct statement. When you combine these two, f inverse of 9 is equal to set containing minus 3 and 3. That means sometimes it is minus 3 or some or 3. Okay, this is also a correct statement. According to the situation, according to the context of the problem, we need to utilize this notation. Okay, just have a look. Okay, how to write f inverse of some number. Okay, have a look. Okay, so now in this particular point f, I will consider a function and I will write its inverse, and then with respect to the given function I am going to check the properties of the inverse also. For suppose just I am naming the functions like see, f1 is a function. Okay, this is the first function. So just I will connect this function f1, okay, in any one of the way. For suppose 1 is connecting to b, 2 is relates to a, and 3 is relates to c. This is a function f1. Then what to say about the inverse of f1? The inverse of f1 just connects. Here we connected 1 to b, so we need to connect b to 1. And here 2 to a, so we need to connect a to 2. And since 3 to c, f1 inverse just connects c to 3. Okay, so this is f1 and this is f1 inverse. So what to say about different properties of this f1? This f1 is a function. Okay, this f1 1 1 or not? This f1 is 1 1 function. Okay, what to say about this f1? Whether it is onto or not? This f1 is clearly onto. Why? Because no element in the second set is empty, and that's why it is onto. Different elements are just connected to different images, so this is 1 1. So basically this f1 is a function, this f1 is a 1 1, this f1 is onto. Now you just think about f1 inverse. See, f1 inverse, whether it is a function or not. See, what is the definition of a function? Okay, just recall it. Okay, every element of the first set has unique image in the second set. So every element has the corresponding images, and every element has unique image only, and that's why this is a function. And the next idea, see whether it is 1 1 or not, just have a look. Different elements are just connected to different elements, so we call it as 1 1 function also. This is a function. We know very clearly that f1 inverse is a relation, but we don't know whether it is a function or not, and that's why we are checking this is a function. And not only a function, this is also a 1 1, and since no element is empty here, this is also become onto also. So this is the first function. Whereas come to the second case, here I will name the second function as f2. So I will connect the elements of that first set to the elements of second set in my choice. Okay, for suppose if I connect like this, 1 to a, okay, and then 2 to b, and then 3 to b, and then 4 to c. Okay, this is a function f2. Then what to say about that, the inverse? Here f2 inverse. First of all I will write f2 inverse. So since I connected 1 to a in the f2, then we need to relate a to 1 in its inverse. Here 2 is connected to b, and there b we need to connect for 2 in f2 inverse. And here 3 is connected to b, and here we need to connect b to 3 in f2 inverse. Here we connected 4 to c, and here we need to connect c to 4. Okay, just have a look. And now see, f2 is clearly a function. f2 is not 1 1. f2 is onto, because no element in the second set is empty, and that's why it is onto. But 2, 3 different elements having the same image, so that's why we say it as not 1 1. So when you think about this f2, this particular function f2 is what? Onto function. This is onto function, and it fails to be 1 1. Then you just look at that f2 inverse. This f2 inverse is not a function. Why it is not a function? As per the definition, every element has unique image in the second set, but this element b has 2 images. Why it happens? This element b has 2 images just because these 2 elements have same image. Why these 2 elements have same image? Because this is not 1 1. So if since f2 fails as 1 1, then its inverse is not a function. Okay, since f2 fails as 1 1, 2 elements have same image, it directly generates that a non-function of f2 inverse. Okay, f2 inverse is not a function just because it is not 1 1. Okay, right. Then you just think about f3 and then f4. Okay, what is f3? You just take as your wish different possibilities. f3 is a function. You just connect 1 to b, you just connect 2 to c, you just connect 3 to d. Okay, and then here see you just connect b to 1, c to 2, d to 3. Okay, very clear. This f3 is 1 1 function but not onto. Okay, this f3 is 1 1. Okay, this is 1 1. Okay, but onto not okay. Why it is not onto? Because the element a is empty here. The a has no corresponding pre-image here, and that's why this is not onto. Then what you say about f3 inverse? f3 inverse is again not a function. Why it is not a function? Because see, as per the definition of the function, every element of the first set must have a pre-image, but here this element is not having any corresponding image. Okay, since it is not having any corresponding image, this fails and this is not a function. Why it is not a function? Because it is not onto. Since it is not onto, some elements in the second set are empty. Since some elements in the second set have no pre-images, its corresponding elements of this set has no corresponding images. Okay, so to make f3 inverse a function, for sure we need to consider an onto function. Okay, and in the last case I have a function. Okay, I will relate it. Yeah, so f4, fourth function. f4 is a function. You just connect 1 to b, 2 to c, 3 to c, 4 to c. Okay, what you say about it? Is it a function or not? Sure, it is a function. Whether it is 1 1? No, because different elements have same image. What you say about onto? No, because a and d are empty here. So this is a function. Very clear. This is 1 1. No 1 1. This is not onto. So what is its inverse? When you coming to the f4 inverse, since 1 is connected to b, we need to relate b to 1. Since 2, 3, 4 are connected to c, we need to connect c to 3, c to 2, c to 4, and clearly it is not a function again. So inverse is not a function here. Inverse is not a function here. Inverse is not a function here, but inverse is a function here. Okay, why this f inverse is only a function? Why these three are not functions? Because if the given original function fails to be 1 1 or onto, then the corresponding inverse is not a function. Okay, we need to conclude this. Inverse of a function, okay, f inverse is a function, happens only if the given function is both 1 1 and onto. If it fails any one of those two conditions, 1 1 and onto, then the inverse is not a function. Okay, just have a look and then I will write the conclusion statements. As a conclusion, if f is a function, we are not confirmed whether it is a function or not. For sure it is a relation. Whereas if the given function f is 1 1 and not onto, then f inverse is just a relation, not a function. Just we are thinking about function, so I am writing it as not a function. If f is not 1 1 and onto, again not a function. But if that f is both 1 1 and onto, then only it becomes a function. Okay, so what I need to conclude once again, therefore if f is bisection, okay, if f is bisection, then f inverse is a function. In particular, it becomes bisection also. Okay, just look at the above examples once again. If f is a bisection, if it is 1 1 onto, f inverse not only a function, it directly becomes a bisection. In particular, f inverse becomes a bisection. Okay, so if f is bisection, then only f inverse is a function, and that f inverse is again a bisection also. Okay, so inverse of the function exists only for bisections. Okay, what is our conclusion? Inverse of the function exists only for bisections. If we have a bisective function, then its inverse is again a function, not only a function, it becomes a bisection. Okay, just have a look, don't get confused. Okay, so f is a function, okay, as given f is a function, and that is defined by f of x is equals to 1 minus 2 power minus x, and it is defined from real numbers to minus infinity to 1. Domain is real and codomain is minus infinity to 1. We need to check whether f inverse is a function or not. See, whenever f inverse is a function, if f is a bisection, then f inverse is a function. So, to say whether f inverse is a function or not, we need to check whether the given f is a bisection or not. So, to say whether f is a bisection or not, we need to check whether it is 1 1, whether or not, whether it is onto or not. And that's why, see, the given definition is that f of x is equals to 1 minus 2 power minus x. First of all, we need to check whether f1 is 1 1 or not. Already we learned the way of checking whether it is 1 1 or not. Okay, algebraically I will move. So, to prove that, we need to start with consider f of a is equals to f of b. Okay, right. So, since this is the algebraic way, we need to start with f of a is equals to f of b, and after certain steps, if you have a is equals to b, then we confirm that it is 1 1. So, what is f of a? As per the rule, f of a is 1 minus 2 power minus a. What is f of b? 1 minus 2 power minus b. So, very clear, you just cancel 1, you just cancel minus, and you will get that 2 power minus a is equals to 2 power minus b. Since bases are equal, you just equalize the powers and then cancel minus, you will get that a is equals to b. So, if you have f of a is equals to f of b, it is very clear a is equals to b, and therefore f is 1 1. Okay, and then we need to check about onto. F is onto. So, to check whether a given function is onto or not, we need to start our discussion with an element of the second set. Okay, let y belongs to codomain of f. Okay, and in particular, let y belongs to minus infinity to 1. So, if we have an element in the codomain, for sure there exists an element x such that f of x is equals to y. But we don't know whether that x is there in the domain or not. We need to check. If we will get that x in the domain, we say it as onto. Okay, since f of x is equals to y, f of x is that 1 minus 2 power minus x is equals to y. Okay, so I need to make x as a subject, and that implies 1 minus y is equals to 2 power minus x. So, very clear, right? 1 minus y is equals to 2 power minus x. From there, yeah, that implies 2 power minus x is equals to 1 minus y. So, if you make x as subject, minus x is equals to logarithm of 1 minus y base 2, and therefore x is equals to minus logarithm of 1 minus y base 2. So, just have a look. This is logarithm. So, a logarithm is definable. Logarithm exists only if this 1 minus y is positive. See, whether it is positive or not, you need to think. See, y is an element from in minus infinity to 1. That in the sense y is less in between these in the region. Y is less than 1. Okay. Since y is less than 1, y is a lesser value. So 1 minus y is positive. Logarithm exists, and minus of that existed number is clearly a real number. And at the end we have that x in the domain of f. So I started my discussion with an element of the codomain. At the end I conclude that its corresponding pre-image x is there in the domain, and that's why we say that this is onto. So we proved that f has 1 1, we proved that f has onto. Since f is 1 1 and f is onto, it is very clear that f is a bisection. So I have no space here, and I will erase it and then I will discuss. Okay. So if f is both 1 1 and onto, f is a bisection, and so its inverse is again a function. Right? Just have a look. I will erase it and then I will continue. So from the discussion it is very clear that therefore f is 1 1 and onto. Since f is 1 1 and onto, that implies f is a bisection. Okay. Since f is a bisection, that implies f inverse is a function. Okay. So now we are very clear that f inverse is a bisection. Also f inverse is bisection. Okay. Also f inverse is bisection. If the question asks you to show But as f inverse is bijection, the same procedure helps you. Okay, nothing difference. Okay, right. F inverse is a bijection. Now to find the rule of f inverse, we need to let f inverse of something. Okay, what I need to take? We need to take that f inverse of x is equals to y. So I am going to generate a rule for f inverse in terms of x. So I don't know the rule, so I am initially taking it as y. So f inverse of x is equals to y. So just observe it, the way of generating rule of f inverse. So to generate a rule for the f inverse, usually f inverse is a function. Always we will express those functions in terms of x, and that's why we are starting our discussion with f inverse of x is equals to y. Okay, since f inverse of x is equals to y, you just send that inverse that side, you will get that x is equals to f of y. And since x is equals to f of y, x is equals to f of x, I have f of y means replace x with y. So 1 minus 2 power minus y. So now what I need f inverse of x. So that means I need y in terms of x. So I need to make y as subject again. And that's why, so as we discussed in the previous case, send this 2 power minus y this side, that is equals to 1 minus x. And if you convert it into the logarithmic form, minus y is equals to log of 1 minus x base 2. And what is y? And that implies y is equals to minus log of 1 minus x base 2. And at the end, we are generating the rule of f inverse. So therefore, it is very clear that f inverse of x is equals to y, and that y is this minus logarithm of 1 minus x base 2. So very simple, right? So just to prove it as onto, similar type of steps we utilized. Okay, the same steps again helps us to write the rule of f inverse. Okay, writing rule of f inverse and proving it as onto, just both are symmetrical. Okay, similar. Okay, right, just have a look. So to prove and to solve this type of problems, first of all we need to check whether the given function is 1 1 or not, and then we need to check whether it is onto or not. After that we need to conclude whether it is bisection or not. If it is a bisection, we say that inverse is a function. Okay, and then while writing the rule, we need to start with this f inverse of x is equals to y. So actually we need to find f inverse of x in terms of x only. That in the sense, now our task is to write y in terms of x. To write y in terms of x, I proceeded in such a way at the end that f inverse of x is equals to minus logarithm of 1 minus x by 2. Okay, right. Just have a look. This is about inverse of a function and inverse function, right?